Welcome to the channel, guys. We are back again, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 fragrances for life. This is both designer and niche, so stay tuned for that. And if you like top 10 lists, cologne comparisons, first impressions, and fragrance reviews, hit that subscribe button for more content. So this kind of video gets done pretty much every year, and I think my tastes change enough that it makes sense to kind of do that. What I really like, of course, there's some in here. If you've seen previous videos, you might recognize. There's some different ones in here. And this is all designer and niche, so it's a mixture. And a couple of these fragrances I actually don't own, but would like to own. And I'm going to start out with those three. So there are three that I don't own. The rest of them I own. It's not really in any particular order, since they're all for different occasions and different seasons. It doesn't really make sense to order them by favorite or whatever, because they, for me anyways, varies on what I want to do or how I'm feeling, depending on which one I would like more. Anyways, I'm going to start off with the three that I don't own. So number one, Rehab. I have Spice Bomb, so this is one of the reasons I don't own this. It is very similar to Spice Bomb, but in my opinion, it's much more well done. The spices are a little bit more robust. I have Spice Bomb Extreme. And I find that it's very peppery, which is fine. It's very nice, but it's a very one-dimensional kind of spice, and it does become very sweet. And where Rehab is better is I find that the spices are blended nicer. They feel like they have a little bit more quality and depth, and it never becomes quite as sweet as Spice Bomb Extreme. So Spice Bomb Extreme can be a little bit much, and Rehab, I just find that it's more well-blended and well-balanced. And of course, like I said, it has a little bit more depth and character. I might pick it up one day, but that day will probably be when I run out of Spice Bomb, or if for some reason I decide to get rid of Spice Bomb, then I might pick up Rehab. Anyways, that is actually the number 10 spot. Number 9, Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So this is probably, or hopefully, going to be the year that I finally picked this fragrance up. Now, I do like the Sport more than the Eau Extreme. I think there's something about the Tonka with the mixture that I don't really like, and so I very much prefer the regular Allure Homme Sport. It has this really awesome sort of tart, zesty orange peel kind of vibe, and I really love that. So I do like tartness in fragrances, and this one does it really well, and it's very mass appealing. It's very easy to wear. It's perfect for spring, summer. It's just such a great all-around fragrance that I do really love that one, and so I would most certainly like to pick that one up. Now, the last of the three that I don't own is Nishane Wulong Cha. If I buy a Nishane fragrance, this is definitely going to be the next one. I do have three. But this will definitely be the next one. You know, I've tried things like Annie and Hachivat and Ambra, Calabria. But Wulong Cha is just, for me, it's such a good tea fragrance. And if you want to try a tea fragrance and see why some people like them, I would definitely recommend getting a sample of Wulong Cha, because it's just so chill, so relaxing, so easy to wear. It's perfect for spring, even for summer. Just a very nice, laid back, relaxing fragrance, and that's what I love it for. You know, it's really good for doing that. So those are the three I don't own. Now 7 fragrances I do own. Again, no real particular order, because they're all different genres and different occasions and different moods. But I'm going to start off with the number 7 spot, which I talk about all the time, and this is Rosé All Day by Gallagher Fragrances. And so there are actually a lot of fragrances that have this kind of DNA. This is that apple pie kind of a fragrance. And I find this one's very nice, syrupy, very dense in the opening, very sweet, but not too sweet, but very thick, very dense, very luxurious feeling. And it has a little hint of plum in it, actually, that I really like. Gives it a nice touch. And there aren't any boozy notes in this, but it does feel a little bit, with that syrupy, a little bit boozy in the opening. And so I really do enjoy that about this fragrance. Now, as this one starts to dry down, you get a little bit more patchouli, which gives it a little bit of depth. A little bit of rose does peek out there, but not too much. And like I said, to me, this is the best one. I know people go crazy for Angel Share, and Angel Share is nice. Of course, there's Ombre Narguil, which I think, or Nagui, I probably can't say it right, which I think was probably the originator of the DNA, but there might have been one before that. and Wajan, and all those are great fragrances, but to me, this is the one that really aced it. Love it. Beast mode as well, so you don't need to spray a ton. This one does perform very, very well, and it's very thick, and it's one that's definitely going to cut through those cold days. So if you are going to be outside, just, you know, spray a little bit more, and people will definitely get a whiff of this one. It's very, very nice. Now, next one, probably no surprise to anybody. You know, if for me, even to this day, if I'm thinking about going on a date or something like that, this is the easiest reach, the one I reach for the most. I put a little bit of a dent in this one. And, you know, for me, the common complaint with this one, Dolce Gabbana One EDP, is that the performance is not that good. I don't find it to be that bad. So I do get about 6 hours of this. Yes, it does sit a little closer to the skin, but you can always spray a little bit more if you want it to project more. And I find that, honestly, the performance in this one is just really not that bad. I know some people get really good performance out of this one, but I get 6 hours, which isn't bad. Now, beautiful amber tobacco. It has that very aromatic kind of tobacco, so it's not like a sort of hay-like accord. It's not like a wet tobacco. It's just this very nice, airy, aromatic, feels kind of like walking into a cigar store or something like that. Just very, very nicely done. Very likable. I don't know many people that dislike this fragrance. You can wear this pretty much any time. I've worn this to work on occasion. Dates, of course, is the easy wear for this one. You can wear it fall, winter, anytime you want. Really, really nice DNA. And to me, this is classic. This is a modern classic, even though it's not that modern, I guess, anymore. But I can't see this fragrance going out of style in my lifetime. Maybe, who knows where our trends are going to go, but this one is amazing. So if you haven't for some reason tried this fragrance out, you should try it out. This is one of the first fragrances that really blew me away. I love that one. The next one, if you all know me, if you watch my channel, you know I shill pretty hard for Kerosene. That is just honestly because I do really like the brand. I think, you know, I think it's a YouTuber fragrance that was done really well. So in case you don't know, the guy from Kerosene was originally a YouTuber. He started up his own brand and he did stop his channel. But he has very nicely, I think they're very affordable. So these are niche fragrances for 140 bucks for 100 milliliters, which I think is a very good price, a very fair price considering he's an indie guy kind of doing it himself. And I think he's asking for a very fair price for what you get. With the variety, there's a lot of really great fragrances to pick. And the one that I went with, Unknown Pleasures. So it was tough. I almost went with Blackmail. I did think about Sweetly Known for a little while, and I do really like, you know, totally Black Vines as well. Follow is nice, but it wouldn't be my favorite by Kerosene by any chance. And this one, I keep coming back to this one because, you know, it was the first one I tried, but I just keep coming back to it because I love those gourmand fragrances, and this one is quite unique in the realm of gourmand fragrances. It opens up, reminds me a little bit of like these sort of lemony cookies that I used to have at my grandma's house. So that's kind of cool, but it just dries down in this beautiful, amazing, sugary waffle cone, which I haven't really smelled that accord on anything else, so I do really like that. And it is a really nice touch. And I will say, for those of you who care, this is my most complimented gourmand fragrance. You know, compliments are nice when you get them, but I personally am not somebody who will try and get them. But you know what? It's always nice if you do. And this is my most complimented gourmand. Now, the next one. I love those tobacco fragrances, and this is one that also has another note that I found I really like, and that's Anise. And this is Exalt Nuit. Of all the, I guess, current YouTubers and their YouTuber fragrances, this is the best one that I've tried. Now, some people do sometimes liken this to, you know, Carlisle or Red Tobacco. And there is this element in this one that has a bit of a wet tobacco note. And I think that Red Tobacco, Carlisle are well known for that. But this fragrance, the rest of it and everything else that it offers to me is quite different. So I don't really get that comparison. This has so much anise in the opening. It's an anise bomb, really. It's like black licorice with a hint of like a cocoa chocolatey vibe and, of course, tobacco, which is really, really addictive. And I also like this one because it's a very dark and mysterious fragrance. This is also another one that I think could be a little bit more risky, but like a date fragrance. It's not guaranteed to be as likable, but it does have that mysterious quality that, you know, can be nice for those types of situations. It's of course maybe not as sensual as some of the other fragrances on here, but very nice for a suit and tie, gentleman's type of thing. Good signature scent for the winter, in my opinion. I really enjoy this one. And like I said, out of all of the current YouTubers, this is my favorite fragrance that I've smelled. Now, I haven't smelled them all, just to be fair, but that is my favorite. Now the next one, probably the only Creed I will ever own, and that is Creed Viking. So I do really like this one. This is one I said for a long time, if I was going to have a signature scent, this would be it. And, you know, it still might be, definitely for fall and winter. It's really amazing. You could probably wear this spring too, because it does have a freshness about it. And to me, it's very much like this modern take on a more classic kind of barbershop DNA. This one manages to be a very masculine fragrance, even though it has rose. It has this sort of spearminty vibe, with a lot of freshness and spice. So it gives you this sort of icy cool or icy warm vibe in the opening. Really like this one. You know, if you like spicy fragrances, if you like mint, you should at least give this one a try. The one thing I will say is don't pay retail. So this retails at like $600, $500, somewhere in there, which is an insane price in my opinion. I managed to pick this up from Costco, so if you check online, sometimes they do have Creeds, and this was only $160, which is a very fair price. If not, really there are other places you can find it. Just make sure to check for that it's legit, because you don't want to get ripped off. But I mean, paying retail Creed prices is a ripoff. In case you're wondering, the other Creed that I really like is Arolfa. Best marine fragrance. Or definitely one of the best that there are. Really love that one. Anyways, number 2, almost at the very top. Now, this one is my favorite Kilian fragrance right now, and it may or may not be what you think it is. And it is Single Malt by Kilian. So this one, I love boozy fragrances, and this one is really, really good at smelling like, to me, it smells a lot more like a rye whiskey. So this one has also plum. It has this very nice, a little bit syrupy, slightly sweet, boozy accord that comes off a lot like a rye whiskey with a bit of a plum note in there. I also sometimes get a little bit of woody smokiness, which is a really nice touch because it makes me anyways think of the cask. Performance in this one is quite good. I find that this one is not a beast mode. It's a little bit more subtle, which means, of course, if you want, you can spray this one a little bit more and not have to worry about it too much. But it's one that doesn't radiate really crazy. Like, it doesn't fill a room. It's more of one that I find when I wear it, it's something that people will smell, they catch a whiff of it, but it doesn't, like, dominate their smell. And so, like, the most beast mode fragrance I've ever smelled or tried was Annie, which is just honestly too strong for its own good because it just gets annoying. That's my personal opinion, though. This one is sort of, in some ways, the opposite of that, in the sense that well, it's not the opposite, but it manages to project and be strong enough without being overpowering. And that's kind of what I like. It's something that's inviting, something that draws people in, something that they can smell without going insane, because even for me, when I had Annie on, it was too much for me wearing it. I mean, I can only imagine what other people must be thinking, but some people love it, and you know, some people say they get all kinds of compliments with it, so there you go. But Single Malt, one of, if not the best boozy fragrances, and my favorite Kilian right now anyways. So we're at the top of the list. Should this one be actual number 1? I don't know. I'll leave that to your decision. It is one that some people would certainly give number 1 of all time, and that is none other than Xerjoff's Italica. Now, I will say, at least at the time of recording this, February 6th, I did hear that this would be shortly available online. So if you do see this video, and it's around that time frame, you might want to check Xerjoff Universe if you're trying to get a hold of this one, because I know that they did do that. That's how I managed to get this one, is that back in April, I think, in 2020 it would have been, they were releasing exclusives temporarily online, this is one that they did. And I had owned a bottle before, but it leaked and it was problematic. So I decided I want to get another one because it is a really amazing gourmand fragrance. And yeah, so I'm not going to advise you to blind buy, but if you've been looking for it, if you wanted to get your hands on it, this would be the time to do that, coming up very shortly. Now, this one. This is like, it's so awesome because it actually, to me, opens up like a very dry almondy biscuit with a bit of a strawberry touch in the opening. But that almondiness carries into the mid and the dry down, and the mid and the dry down is when you start to get a lot more of the toffee, and you get this sort of nice, really milky, sweet vibe, and it has this very nice, sensual, sweet, silky kind of an almondy feel to it, and it's just really, really good, honestly. And this one is one that also performs, 12 hours plus, and this is one that I like to call sort of the sillage king. In that, for me anyways, it doesn't fill a room. If I even spray it 5-6 times or whatever, it doesn't really fill a room. What it does is create a bubble. The bubble is dense, it is thick, and it's very delicious. So, Italica, to me, it does live up to the hype. It is a really, really good gourmand fragrance. Probably one of the best Xerjoffs that there is. I haven't tried them all. Of course, there's a lot in the Xerjoff lines, but really amazing, really unique fragrance, and absolutely worth checking out. And like I said, if you are looking for this one, stay tuned onto the Xerjoff website. I think it's in the next couple of days this one is going to be available online, and it's probably only until stock is exhausted. But anyways, guys, that is my top 10 for life. Designer and niche both mixed in together there. It was kind of tough. There were certainly some other ones that I really love. I love Eau Très Fresh Terre de Hermes, but I decided to go with Allure Sport instead. It's a very similar fragrance. Even Toy Boy I actually really like. Encre Noir I really thought about putting in there too. 10 is a very limited amount. It's tough. But let me know in the comments down below, what would your top 10 fragrances for life, designer niche, be? Or just pick your top fragrance for life if you only want to put down one. Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video.